And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Sha of Pride 10-man normal in the Siege of Orgrimmar raid. And for this fight you want to bring 2 tanks, 2 to 3 healers and a mix of DPS. And the goal of this fight is to defeat Sha of Pride. As you can see on the screen right now, there is a pride bar associated with this fight. It's a gimmick, and basically the more pride you have, the more dangerous you're going to be to the raid, because abilities change depending on how much pride you have. It is also important to say that if you hit 100 pride, you're going to get mind controlled, you're going to die, and you're probably going to take someone with you because you have increased damage. So first of all, we have bursting pride. When swelling pride hits a player that has 25 to 49 pride, it creates a massive Sha corruption at their location. After 3 seconds, the corruption explodes, inflicting 300,000 damage to all players within 5 yards, and a player damaged by this explosion gains 5 pride. Projection. When swelling pride hits a player that has 50 to 74 pride, a projection forms 15 yards away from their current location. Projection explode after 6 seconds, inflicting 225,000 shadow damage to all players, unless the projection creator is standing within it. Any player damaged by a projection explosion gains 5 pride. What this means is once you hit this level of pride and you get hit by swelling pride, a little pool will appear 15 yards away from you, and all you need to do is just run to it. Aura of Pride. When swelling pride hits a player that has 75 to 99 pride, it afflicts them with Aura of Pride for 25 seconds. This effect causes the player to inflict 250,000 shadow damage to all allies within 5 yards every 1 second, and any player hit by this Aura of Pride gains 5 pride per tick. And the last one, Overcome. When a player reaches 100 pride, they are overcome, increasing their damage and healing down by 50%. Players hit by swelling pride while overcome are permanently mind controlled and have their health increased by 100%. So that's very bad. You never want to do this. Now let's talk about the abilities the Sha of Pride does itself. So the first one is called Self-Reflection. Now after a couple of seconds of casting this, it will create reflections underneath players, and these will form into ads. But when the cast is finished and these ads form, they will explode, dealing damage, and if you get hit by that explosion, it gives you pride. So as soon as you see these forming, you need to move, okay? It does about 200k damage, but it gives you pride, so you never want to get hit by it. And the last one, the gimmick of this fight, is Corrupted Prison. The Sha will activate 2 corrupted prisons, and I actually prepared another beautiful picture for this. So let's take a look at my MS Paint skills right here. Okay, so on the top we have the entrance with Norushan, at the middle we have the boss, and at the bottom we have a big spawn. That's an ad I'm going to talk about a bit later. What we are focusing on is the positioning. So the tanks are to the left of the boss and the rest of the group is to the right of the boss. And you can see 4 circles around the boss. 2 of them have a red cross. These 2 are not active in 10 man, they're only active in 25 man. And what we're looking at. So these 2 circles without the red cross are the places where your players will be imprisoned. And how we dealt with it, if someone's imprisoned in the bottom left one, the tanks will release him. If someone's imprisoned in the top right one, the rest of the group will release him. And now let's take a look at how you actually release that person. And as you can see on the picture right here, as soon as the player is imprisoned, he will get stunned, and he will take 80,000 fire damage, as well as gain 5 pride every second. Now, as you can see, 2 of the 3 blue logs started glowing orange. All you need to do is you need 2 players to each stand on one of these. You need to do it really fast, because as I've said, the player is taking 80,000 damage a second, which is not that bad, but he's gaining 5 pride a second, which is really bad. So deal with this as fast as possible. Another thing to worry about is a manifestation of pride. This is a big ad that you saw in the picture, and this one will spawn periodically throughout the fight. The biggest deal with this is called Mocking Blast. He will cast Mocking Blast, he will hit a random player for quite a bit of damage, but he will give him pride, which is the bad thing. Now you can spell lock this guy, you can interrupt him. So what we did, we had a DK grip him and just spell locked him and killed him. He doesn't have an awful lot of health, so it's not that bad, but if you just don't pay attention to him, he might wipe your raid. Another thing to look out for is called Gift of the Titans. Now Norushan will periodically give this to random players, and it will make them immune to pride for 20 seconds, so you cannot gain any pride while you have this. And this goes really well with something called Mark of Arrogance. Sha will mark 2 players and it will deal 70,000 shadow damage to them periodically until the end of the fight or until it's dispelled. But when you dispel it, you will gain 5 pride, which means that if you have Gift of the Titans and you're a healer, you can dispel these. Note that these can only be dispelled by single target dispel, so mass dispel doesn't work. And in addition to all of this, if all of the players with Gift of the Titans stand within 8 yards of each other, they will get something called the Power of the Titans, and this will increase their damage, healing, and haste by 15%. And the last thing on the list, we have Unleashed. When Sha reaches 30% health, it will kill Norushen instantly. And it will reset your pride, but every 10 seconds, everyone in the raid will take 245,000 shadow damage, and it will give you 5 pride. So this is the Bloodlust phase. As soon as this happens, just Bloodlust and try to kill it. Okay, this is just the nuke mode. If you don't do it within a certain amount of time, you die. This is the soft enrage. So that's about it. Now let's go over the actual tactic, now that we know what's going on the screen. 2 more things I almost forgot about. Here, the boss has a resource bar. So once the resource reaches 100%, I'm not quite sure what the resource is called, so I'm just going to call it a resource, it will deal massive damage to everyone in the raid. So use cooldowns for that. And the second thing, Mark of Arrogance can actually stack up. So instead of it doing 70,000 shadow damage a tick, it will do 140. So you might sometimes dispel it. You might want to dispel it even though you don't have the Gift or Power of Titans. It's much better to have 10 pride on a healer than a dead person. And overall, this fight is not that difficult. It's mostly about positioning, so the tanks are to the left of the boss, as you can see. The rest of the raid is to the right of the boss. Move when the reflections are about to pop out of the ground. Release people from the prisons as fast as possible. Just grip or charge the big ad, spell log him and kill him. On 30%, you want to Bloodlust and give it all you have. Use all your cooldowns and just kill it before it kills you, basically. And that's about it. It's not too difficult, but it's a lot of fun. I wish you a lot of luck with this boss. It's awesome. And thank you again for watching and listening, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.